I can see hearts there. Okay, let's start. So today we're going to be doing beet cutlet, and I call it beet cutlet because beetroot tends to take over everything it comes in contact with, but we are adding potatoes and carrots and other things to it. This is something that we have eaten in a place when we go back to home, and it's a really old joint and we always go there, and this is what reminds us of that place. So this reminds us of home. So let's start. Beetroot being the star here. So we need around 100 grams of raw beetroot, which I have grated. Then equal amount of carrot, and I use the same grater for both because I want the size of the vegetable to be the same. Then we need a binding agent, of course. So I have potatoes here, which is boiled and mashed, and you want them to be cool before you start using them. 50 grams of onions is a medium-sized onion here, which is chopped really fine, as small as you can do it. I have grated garlic and some chopped up green chilies. So the heat, I leave it up to you, because if you can't tolerate green chili or you don't use green chili often, you could use crushed pepper or even a red chili flakes. And so this is really important, which I've come across many vegetable cutlets, they use bread. You can leave it out if you don't want it, but I think it tends to, what it does is it helps in absorbing the excess moisture which these kind of root vegetables have, like beetroot and carrot. They tend to get a little mushy once you make them and leave them. So this is 2 slices of white bread which I have here. You can use any bread you want. I soak them in water, squeeze all the water out, and just crumble it and keep it ready. Then of course you need salt, and for coating I'm using semolina, which is rava. You can use breadcrumbs, but what we have eaten, they have always used only semolina there. So, and it adds an extra nice crunch to this. To bind, I'm not using, as in this is for the coating, I'm not using an beaten egg. I'm using a slurry which I've made of flour and corn flour. You could use only corn flour, you could use only flour, whatever you choose. You could even use a beaten egg, which is thinned down with a little water or milk. But keeping it completely vegetarian here, this is what we're doing. So let's start. So what you need to do is heat a pan with a little bit of oil, because we need to fry the onions, and we're going to be frying the vegetables before we make the cutlets. So you could also use a little bit of coriander leaves if you want. This is I really like coriander leaves, and I try to add it to everything. It's in small amount. It really won't make a lot of difference, but it's nice. So I'm going to add in the onions first. Oh yes, don't do what I did. The pan wasn't really hot. You just wait for it to completely heat up. But it's very little amount of oil that I've used. You can use olive, or you could use vegetable. I use vegetable oil. I use sunflower actually. So once they start turning like translucent, that's when we add in the crushed garlic and green chili. 1 big clove of garlic here, which I've minced, grated really fine, and also green chili, which I've chopped really fine, because the kids don't want chunks of garlic or chili coming into their mouth. Just spoils it for them, but they really like this. And this is one way you can get all sorts of veggies into their diet. It's fun to eat. Kids tend to like stuff like this, or anybody actually. You can make this ahead of time and put them in the freezer and fry it whenever you want. That's what I do actually. I make so many kinds of cutlets or little things which we can have instant when they're hungry. So I chopped up onions way before time because I didn't want to cry later, but I think I want to cry now. So they're starting to change color. because you know it helps if you chop them really fine. One, it doesn't, you don't see it in the cutlet. Plus, it helps everything to cook evenly. You could add a pinch of salt to it, will help the process. Onion fumes. Yeah. We don't want to brown them at all. We don't want that taste. I think it's getting there. If you can see, they are pink now. Okay, so I'm going to add the garlic and the green chili. You remember to have your exhaust fan on when you do this because we don't want to inhale green chilies. Like me. You know, in my family, the kids, they don't eat beetroot as a vegetable. Like, you know, you cook for food, for your meals. They will eat beetroot if it goes in a dessert or if it goes in cutlets like this. They are perfectly fine with it. So that's what we do. We trick the children. But this is good for sorry. This is good for everybody. You know, if you're having a dinner party and stuff, you can make this way before you need them, like a day before. Put them in the freezer. Yeah, the green chili is getting to me. Okay, so now it's ready. The garlic is cooked. I'm going to add the carrots and the beet. So you can see this is a big grate I have done. You can grate it fine if you want. But make sure you use the same grater for both because you don't want two-sized vegetables. I love how the beetroot looks. It basically just takes over everything. You can actually use a little more beet if you like. This doesn't take a lot of time. Basically what we're looking for here is we want the moisture to dry up a little bit, so it helps when you're binding the cutlet. Otherwise it'll get soggy and you don't want a soggy cutlet really. Yeah, it's drying up nicely. See here? You can see, and like I said, the beetroot takes over everything. Here you go. It's nice, it's dry. And now I'm going to salt it. And make sure you salt it well because I mean, it's terrible when you're eating something and it's undersalted, which I've been told many times. So once you add salt, it tends to leave a little more water. So just dry it up. And we're going to cool it down slightly before we add the potatoes because we want to be able to handle it then. It's done. Make sure you taste it. And if you want to add more heat, you can always add pepper powder here. You can add garam masala as well if you like that taste. I like it, but today I'm not adding any. Or maybe I will. Just a pinch. And you always add garam masala towards the end. You don't want to cook it because it turns bitter and it loses the taste. It has a nice smell. If you don't have garam masala or you don't like using it, you can leave it out. You can see how dry it is. It's nice. It's moist, but it's not wet. And this is what we're looking for. So the bread that I told you, we soaked it and we basically it's like mashed potato. It just adds a little body to it and it absorbs it. You know, if the carrots and beetroots tend to leave any more moisture, I think it will absorb it. It's not dry breadcrumbs. That will make it more dry. You don't want to do that. Yeah, this is cooling down nicely. So I'm going to add this, all of it. Maybe if you don't want to use bread, you can leave it out. I'm going to add this potato, which is around 250 grams approximately, after it's mashed. I weighed everything. I'm going to add all of it. You know, go ahead and adjust ingredients as you like, but Remember, the final thing is that you have to be able to bind it, and you don't want it to break when you're frying them. You can bake it even. Try doing that. Maybe use breadcrumbs if you're doing that, because semolina probably will burn. You can use an egg wash, like I said, for coating. But we're just keeping it completely vegetarian here. I think this needs a little more salt, because I always add salt in stages. Never add the salt all at once, because, well, you know, if it's more, you can't always take it out, right? And then again, you have to add a lot more ingredients. So add it in layers, taste it as you go, add what you need before you do the final, because you don't want to again redo the whole thing. Look, the beetroot took over even the potatoes. It's such a beautiful color. All the more reason that you should cook with it. What I do is I make these. I lay them flat on a box, and like all ready. And then if I have more and if I want to lay them, you know, one on top of another, I always put a parchment in the middle, and then I freeze it. So you need to remove only how many you want to fry them. Don't remove all of it. Don't thaw all of it. It's very easy to pull them out and just thaw how much you want, or you can just straight away fry them. You don't even have to thaw it. You can deep fry it if you want. It tastes delicious. I pan fry them, and you can even bake them actually, but I don't know, I prefer the pan fry. I'm not going to add pepper because I think the green chili was quite potent. So I'll leave it there. Don't want to knock the socks off, you know. And I'm going to use coriander leaves. Experiment. I love coriander leaves and things. Look at that. So okay, now I think it's cool enough to handle, and it's really firm. It's not soggy. It's a nice mix, and this is what you're looking for. You can see me. It's almost like Play-Doh. And I'm going to show you I'll show you a few how I shape them. What we're going to do is just use a spoon or something to portion it out. Gloves, because it has green chilies and you don't want to touch the green chilies, and you know, if you're delicate, I mean if you're sensitive like that, if your skin is delicate like that, then feel free to use gloves. Just shape them, and it's very easy to shape it. See, it's not soggy. Then I'm going to dip it in a very liquid slurry of flour and corn flour mixed. I'm going to dip it in here, and then I'm going to dip it into the semolina that I have. And pat it in really well, because you know when you're frying them, the semolina tends to burn. So you want to wipe down the pan in between, so that you know when you're doing the next batch, you don't have to. Oh, this is so pretty. I like the semolina ones, I think, more than the breadcrumbs, and adds a nice crunch. So let me show you. What I have done is, this is the one I did now, and these are the ones which I had frozen earlier, just to show you it's easy to handle. You can see it? And we're going to fry it. But before frying, you need to remember that it needs some time in the fridge just to settle down. Once it does, maybe half an hour, and then you can just fry it however you want. You want to deep fry it, you want to pan fry it, it's your choice. I have some fried already, and I shallow fried it. If you can see, they turn a dark color, and it's really nice. It's crunchy on the outside, but it's really soft inside. And you can make them a little ahead of time if you're serving it to people, and then put them in the oven later just to warm them up, because it's really nice when it's slightly warm. People are eating it very hot in my house, but trust me, it's really nice. See you again soon. Alright then, bye.